Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of State of Quake. As always, I'm Slip.
And I'm Unkind. Thanks for joining us. Now sit back and let's see where this Slipgate takes us.
First off, just want to say it's good to be back recording for you guys. I know we kind of had a little bit of a hiatus, but I know we've said earlier in a different podcast, our schedules around the holidays, with work, shopping, family get-togethers, yada, 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 kind of takes away from recording time.
Yep. All that is past us, and we're back.
Hey, a lot of people have been asking us, hey, where's the next episode? When's the next episode?
It's coming soon, guys.
Coming soon. One of the first things I'd like to bring up with this podcast is a upcoming charity event that one of our friends is hosting. Well, he's asking us to host it, record it stream it for him and cast it, so I think we will. It's going to be called the Pigeon Classic King of the Hill. It's going on Saturday, 15th of December. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's going to be for the North Valley Community Foundation Campfire Evacuation Relief Fund. I want to cost you $1 to get in, and we will have the charity's website below to where you can donate at least $1. And what you do is once you donate, you take a screenshot of it so they know that you donated, and then either message me, Unkind, or the Motherload, which is the guys putting all this together, and we will get you to the correct Discord to get the rest of the information.
We'll also put a link in the description below the podcast to read up on what the benefit is for. The Slip mentioned, hop in our Discord. We'll have information inside of there, and you can message either of us or the Motherload, and we'll get you squared away.
Yep. Or if you want to search it by yourself, it is called Cathala Keep. So I know some people can search Discord by the name, so if you find it, it's also there. And it's like I said, I think it works as a standard cost, but you'll be able to ban a champ for each match versus one champ for the night. So come out, guys, and help out a good cause. Another thing I wanted to bring up, we're still looking for a graphic designer for our logos/emoticons. We're still trying to find someone because I have no artistic talent at all. I can barely draw stick figures, much less some kind of logo.
We do have one emoticon on Twitch that I threw together, the too big for 'em. You'll see me spamming that everywhere and anywhere, and anybody who's a subscriber of ours can also use that. But like I said, that was something that I threw together with little effort. We want to get some official stuff out there. So if anyone has any referrals, send them our way. We're more than willing to pay for a commission on that stuff.
Now, to me, you sound a little different. Now, I'm not sure if the folks at home will pick it up, but I noticed it yesterday when you jumped in Discord.
How's my voice sound? I got a new microphone.
Sounds a lot crisper, a lot sexier.
We're stepping our game up here. Speaking to you guys on my new Samsung Q2U recording device. I'm no longer using a gaming headset, so let us know how you like the sound quality. I think, Slip, you just put in your order for one, right?
Yes, I did. I ordered it today, and I went ahead and got me the microphone's mic arm, whatever you want to call it. I did notice we could hear a little bit of clicking as you were playing.
I had, sorry about that for people who were in the stream. I have the microphone sitting on my desk right now. So yeah, as I was playing, everybody in the stream heard all the clicks and the clacks and me banging. And every time I got killed, spamming that space bar to respawn.
And also shout out to Modus, who he actually referred me to this mic as the one he uses. And, he showed me a video and it sounded good. The price is right. And so I really appreciate him showing us that mic. Going to sound professional.
And yeah, speaking of stepping our game up, Slip, you've been doing quite a bit of Twitch streaming since you got your webcam. You got a new chair. We've thrown a few events over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I noticed. I know we were going to go on a bit of a hiatus with the podcast, with the schedule and everything. So I went ahead and ordered the cam. I figure, if we can't get a podcast content, let's give them a little bit of Twitch content. Because I know we've been kind of pushing people to follow us on there. So you're going to have to stream if you want people to watch your channel. Anybody else out there who has a Twitch channel and you're not getting a lot of followers, you got to put the content out there.
And yeah, like we've been getting a steady stream of followers on Twitch. Thank you to all of our recent subscribers and followers for joining in on the stream. It's been an interesting ride hosting events. There's always a couple of hiccups, here and there, but we worked through them.
Yeah, I really enjoyed hosting the events. Yeah, they are a bit more things behind the scenes that people might not know about, but it's definitely worth it because last night we finally broke 100 followers, and so we really appreciate all you guys that hit that follow button. Even if you don't ever watch us again, we're still going to appreciate you for hitting the follow button.
We gave away 2 champions packs. We gave away a couple of chests and backpacks while those are still a thing.
Yeah, you can see more of the fire hazard beard, as some people
yeah.
have been calling it. I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to start having a war between me and 40 Lions about our beards. Some people are saying mine's bigger than his. I don't know. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is, but
that's for sure. Your beard is definitely a fire hazard. Don't have any sparks anywhere near that thing.
Speaking of the events, make sure you follow us on Twitter, or if you haven't already joined our Discord, do that, because usually those are the first 2 places that we will post to when we're going to have an event. So if you want to be a part of it, or if you just want to watch it, like I said, just follow us there or join our Discord.
Yeah, speaking of the very first event that we did, I think you threw that together pretty much the same day, right?
Yeah, I think I had the idea like at 5, and I wanted to get it started at 9.
And we had a full house. We had 12, 13 participants in our very first State of Pain dual King of the Hill tournament. It was pretty fun, man.
Yeah, and you'll see that I'm trying, or well, both of us are trying to get our casting skills up to par, but we still got a lot of work to do.
There's so much on our plates, man. Like the podcast is one thing. We got Twitch streaming, figuring out how to pull all the levers and make all that stuff successful, and on top of that, trying to cast other players. A lot of learning going on.
So yeah, we had a newcomer that I'd never heard of before during our State of Pain duel King of the Hill as a Nero. I think he was in the second match. Or third.
Yeah, he was. Now that might be due to, he was unranked at the time. So yeah, he was like the second or third match, and he ran through the competition, man, all the way up until I think it was it me or was it D-Ron?
I think it was D-Ron. I think D-Ron beat him, because then I think you and D-Ron went at it, and then you beat him.
Yeah, but yeah, he had a good run. I think of close to 7 or 8 matches, something like that.
Yeah, I was telling him, I said, yeah, I should have probably placed you a little bit higher, but I know usually when the King of the Hill goes, if you're not ranked, they usually kind of put you towards the beginning, to kind of fill you out. So we know better than do that next time.
Eventually, he hit the wall that he was going to run into, and he had a good run. Congratulations to the winner of our very first State of Pain, King of the Hill, Violent Heart. He's a tough cookie, man.
Yeah, I watched that domination happen. I didn't participate. I was all just casting, and I watched the domination unfold.
I've got to play him more often. He's got a completely unique play style. He's very plus forward, and I've over the course of time, become more of a plus back player. So that's a clash of styles, and unfortunately, he got the better of me.
Well, speaking of all this duel and all this other stuff that we're talking about, we hosted another event. Actually, it was just last night. It was our first blind date 2v2 Koth event. And to explain what the blind date part is about, basically it's 2v2 with all randomness. We paired people up randomly with a wheel spin, and then everyone got placed randomly with a wheel spin, and we did no champ bans. We just decided, let's not even worry about keeping up with champ bans. Let's just let everybody play how they want to play, except for having the same champion on the team, not like 2 visors or 2 whatever. Yeah,
I think it was a huge success. All the people who participated and the people in the Twitch stream, they seem to really enjoy the format. So it's definitely something we're going to do again. There might be a few tweaks here and there just to keep it more efficient, but I think it was awesome. It was fun. It was a challenge to set up and a challenge to cast, man.
Oh God,
2v2 is a whole nother beast when it comes to trying to talk about.
Yeah, if anybody goes back and watches the VOD, you're going to notice as the night goes on, we don't quite cast as much as versus just talking about things. I mean, not random things, it's all Quake related, but you kind of notice we kind of get away from the action, because some fights were kind of one-sided, so it's like, and then depending on what the map was, like PNAF I know some people call it Nath, but no, it's not Velith Nath. It's Velith Nath. Let's get it right, folks. That map is just, oh my god, there's so much stuff going on. It's just like, how do I keep up with all this?
I think it was fine. Like, especially, when the games are one-sided like that, they pretty much speak for themselves, and there's nothing that you can do to keep up with the action as a caster. So we had interesting conversations along the way as well. So anyway, we want to congratulate the winners of that tournament, Reflux and Seppuku. I think they were the third match, and they beat everyone. I think there were close to 10 or 11 matches, and they went the distance, beating everybody on the list, some more convincing than others. And we sort of did this from the shadows challenge at the end of it, where Slip and I jumped in as a final boss thing, and they beat us as well. And Slip, you definitely outperformed me, man. I went in cold, and I paid for it. But I don't want to take anything away from Reflux and Seppuku, because they got better as the night went on, and I can honestly say that a love connection was made on our blind date event, because they played together extremely well. It sounded like they were communicating on Discord or whatever they were using to do comms with, and they played extremely well together. So we hope to see them continue to pair up in future tournaments, man.
Yeah, especially if we host it again, for sure. If we do it blind date again, they may be paired up with somebody else. You just never know.
Yeah, that's the whole concept behind it. We want to mix pro players with beginners and see how the chemistry goes. And since we've been doing more and more events, we need to start coming up with like a wall of fame for the winners, like really similar to how Tasty Spleen does it, and 40 Lions for his den tournaments, because not all of our tournaments are going to have prize winnings, and having your name up on the wall is a great consolation prize for sure.
I mean, that's the best. That's the highest honor you can get. Like, you could be like Rafa and get that Dreamhack plate, the glass plate, which I think a lot of people had some jokes about that. The glass plate, but which would you rather have, that Dreamhack glass plate or your name on that static Quake wall?
Something that came out of one of the streams is, Rafa might be the best player in the world, but the winner of one of our tournaments might be the next best.
All right,
player.
Exactly. You just tell yourself, if Rafa's not on that board, then you're outdoing him, because he's not even competed yet.
Yep. And speaking of Rafa, man, he was all over Dreamhack Winter.
Mm-hmm. I watched that 2v2, and I was a little surprised the fact that it just, well, I don't want to say surprised. I think I was expecting a little bit more from Team AMD, I guess.
Yeah, especially leading up to it. Like I was watching Team Liquid and Team AMD, which is Cooler and Toxic, scrim, like leading up to the actual event, and Cooler and Toxic were taking maps like with a considerable lead against Team Liquid, and people were questioning whether or not they would actually win against them in a grand final. And I mean, obviously the proof is in the pudding. They were probably doing their homework on them. I heard rumors of Rafa not being, he was basically handcuffed with the computer that he was playing on. So all of that goes into scrimmage matches, and you can only take that stuff with a grain of salt. And yeah, congratulations to Team Liquid on taking that first place. And there's a really awesome video that Dehang created. It's on YouTube. If you Google Dehang Dreamhack 2v2 analyze, you'll find it. But he goes through and basically talks about the plays that they're making as they're making them after the fact, and it's a really interesting perspective to hear like what's going through their mind, because those things do not cross my mind while I'm playing 2v2. They're just on another level.
Yeah, I watched majority of it myself. I was like, yeah, That's why I'm not at the top of 2v2. You
Yep.
know, I'd love to be on that level as well, but that would take a lot of commitment that I don't know if I could put in.
That's why they're the pros and we are the Joes.
That's true too.
And yeah, on the duel front, we won't go into who won just yet, because I think the Cooler Avec semifinal was like some of the most butt clenching action that I had seen in duel in a very long time. If you haven't checked out that match, it is like classic Quake Champions. It's amazing. The casters are just on the edge of their seat. You could tell the audience was on the edge of their seat. Just a really great match.
Yeah, I remember after the match, the casters were kind of a little bit like, I think that was the biggest upset of the entire tournament.
Yep.
I think everybody had Cooler going in to win that outright.
And he was really close to it, but he just it was like one frag away, man.
So after Cooler loses, Avic faces who again?
Rafa, the best. And yeah, the grand final was a bit anticlimactic versus the semifinal, because Rafa, like, it seemed like it wasn't even a challenge. I don't know if Rafa just plays much better against an opponent like Avic, or Avic just was worn out from the previous match. But
I think
he didn't win anything.
Yeah, he didn't win anything. It was a shutdown.
You shut him down, but it was a valiant effort. Yeah, congratulations to both of them, and congratulations to Rafa for taking that. And yeah, speaking of like him taking those two wins, he had an amazing 2018 run. I saw a graphic on Reddit that somebody put together, which shows all of his tournament wins. He's got 28 first place victories and 1 second place victory, which was at the Italian Esports Open versus Razy. That's like the only mark on that record. He was able to take home $117,417 from his tournament winnings alone. And who knows, with sponsorships and whatever he's getting paid for being with Team Liquid. But just from tournament winnings alone, that's amazing.
Sound like I'm in the wrong career.
I mean, he plays quite a bit of Quake.
Yeah, and I'm not to discredit Razy, because he's a great player as well. It just makes you wonder, was Rafa just had an off day? Because we all do. We all have a day that we're just playing not at our best.
Yeah,
it just makes you wonder.
I'm sure that he took that loss and whatever learnings from that loss, and he brought it with him, to the next tournament, because obviously he won it.
Well, congratulations, Rafa, for winning Dreamhack. I really do hope that you're going to eat some dinner off of that Dreamhack plate. I want to see that. I think a lot of other people want to see that. So
he's sort of been MIA since then. He's probably been taking that plate on a tour of Europe somewhere. He's like, hey, I won Dreamhack. I won this plate. Put it on this plate.
That's right. I'm eating off this plate for a while. So if he is listening, if you ever do listen to our podcast, which one day you do, just one day for us, just eat off the plate on stream. So we need to see it happen to make sure it's legit.
And yeah, that was the last major Quake Champions esports event of 2018. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what they got for us in 2019.
Maybe QuakeCon 2019?
Perhaps.
We'll see what happens. So I know as before our last podcast, we talked about Team Eisen versus Team Clutch. And it looks like Team Eisen won it, which is the team I chose, by the way.
He won by a considerable margin. That whole thing, I don't know, that's kind of a mystery. Like, they made the announcement. There wasn't really like a clear direction on how you participated in the event, or just, you play with the champions that were on that team, and mystery prizes just like appear on your account.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, I saw some people on the stream said, "Oh, I just logged in. I got like 2 reliquaries or something like that. I don't know what happened."
Yeah, after a week of not playing, I've magically had 37 days of bonus XP.
Yeah, I hope next time, if they ever plan on doing another event like this, I think we talked about it before in the other podcast, make it more like you choose a permanent side for the event. So all your kills go towards that faction versus it just depends on whatever champ you play.
Yeah, that, and yeah, just make it more clear on how you participate. Lock in a choice. Make it so that like half the people or the people on that team don't win. That would make it way more interesting.
Yeah, and it makes you brag more. Like, hey, I got this. You don't.
Next up in the news, there was an announcement last week that Garpy from Team Maestro, he's putting up his gloves for Quake Champions, man. He's retired.
Well, I mean, Quake Champions is a very demanding game. I don't know, maybe if he just burned out on it, or maybe he just wants to be more, play games for fun without all the pressure. I don't know, because I never played at that level, so I can't really say what goes on in their mind when they retire, or the pressure, or anything like that.
Yeah, I would have, I don't know what the motive was behind that. Obviously, he's still going to be competing for Team Maestro because there isn't a replacement for him on the team. Rumor has it that he's switching over to your side game, Call of Duty.
Well, I'm going to use side game very loosely in that sense, because the fact is, I only play one mode, and that's the Battle Royale, and I liked PUBG, and I think I might still like PUBG a little better, but I will admit COD runs a hell of a lot smoother than PUBG does, and that's why I got it, and the fact that D-Ron kind of peer pressured me into getting it. So I blame mostly on him.
Yeah, I still haven't tried out Black Ops beyond, the beta that they had, and I'm not really willing to fork over the money. Now that, we have new game modes that we can look forward to on Quake Champions, I'll definitely be focusing on that. So you can have your COD.
I don't think you've played another game since we've started this podcast, sir.
Nope.
We'll get it to happen eventually. I still play a little bit of Fallout 76 too, so we'll be talking about that at some point or the other.
Yeah, you gotta distribute, your gameplay. I play other games, but nothing quite as much as Quake Champions. And yeah, like I said, now that we have Capture the Flag, which we'll be getting into shortly, that's what I'll be focusing on for sure.
I'm going to let you start this next topic out, 'cause I know you wanted to talk about it a little more than I did. So I'll let you start out and give your thoughts, and then I'll give mine.
So yeah, along with Team Maestro, I believe it was last week, there was a tweet that went out from Dooi, and it was a long tweet. It was a series of tweets. He had some passionate words about, his take on the state of Quake, I guess you could say, no pun. To give you an explanation, he was, in my eyes, was doing a bit of complaining. He was ranting quite a bit about the balance changes that happen. And, to give a little bit more context, I think he was a little bit ticked off that those balance changes happened right before a major event. And this series of tweets has since been deleted. I'll start off, with how I felt about it. No offense to Dooi or anything like that, but I thought that, obviously he prefaced it with, this having nothing to do with the team that he competes for, and that was his personal thought and his personal opinion, but it rubbed part of the Quake community, the wrong way, and they called him out for it. Like, there was a huge nerf with abilities across the board with champions, and some would say that his play style leaned on the side where he relied on those abilities, and that was the reason why he didn't do well at Dreamhack. What I have to say about this is, you could be on my side, you could be on whoever's side, but this is just my opinion. Slip's probably going to have a completely different opinion on this, but everybody, he's not special. Everyone got hit with the same thing. Whether or not they leaned on the abilities too much or not, that's besides the fact. Like, we're all playing the same game. The way that he explained it, it makes it seem like he's playing a different game than us. We all had to relearn the champion balance and the meta and all of that stuff. He started even mentioning comparisons of Quake Champions being diluted to the point where it's more like Quake Live, and Quake Live players started calling him out on it and basically saying that it's not the same. And I don't know. I've said a lot. I sort of want to hear what Slip's take on this is, and I don't know. I feel like Dooi, come on, we're all in the same boat here. You got to relearn how to play the game and play differently. Like, it's Quake Champions 2.0, man. Get with it.
Well, I guess I could first say that I understand both sides of the story. I mean, of the fence. I see where he's coming from, and I see what other people are saying. Because the way I read it, he was saying, basically, if you guys were going to make it more like Quake Live, which with the nerf, you kind of put the ability to the back seat, and it goes back to more of your weapon skills. Which, hey, to me, that's Quake. That's old Quake, because Quake didn't have abilities. So,
but the abilities are still there.
I'm just saying it's in that direction. I'm not saying it's like it. I'm just saying before the abilities were the forefront, like with champs, like with the Ranger and a BJ and all of them. That was their thing. You could rely on it a lot. But now that it's taken a back seat, it's like, okay, I got to play way differently now because that ability might not get me out of trouble or get me a free kill or however you want to word it.
Yeah, he was one of the first players to get like basically his name tied to an ability kill, the Dooi orb. I think that's why it just goes to show you, like, if he can get a term in the game from a kill, an insta kill, named after him, like that just goes to show you how much he probably leaned on that.
Well, I like to say the ability was named after me, because it's called Slipgate. So, just saying, just me. But I mean, I see what what he meant by it, as far as it kind of leaning more towards old Quake habits, as far as having good LG, having good rockets, having good rail. I see what he meant by it. But at the same time, like you say, everybody's having to relearn it. All the other pros had to relearn it. And I think he also mentions about some new players. And I think what he meant by it was that with the abilities being nerfed, we're going to have less new players likely to come in because now they don't have the ability to fall back on before, while they're learning the game. And I kind of see what he's talking about from there. Overall, we can't always just follow the negative parts of Quake. If that was the case, we all should just uninstall the game and just go, play something else. Roll with the punches and just keep getting better. That's just the way I look at it. I mean, I understand his frustration, and if I was probably in a pro type deal where I was a pro and had all this pressure, I mean, I can understand where he's coming from, but I'm just going by what I feel, and so I pretty much basically the same. Get better and don't rely on the orb or the BJ or whatever so much, because I've had to play way differently. I don't really use Ranger hardly at all anymore, and that's bad. Because Ranger was like over 75% of my champion usage was, and now I don't even know what he's at anymore because I haven't looked up my Quake stats recently. Which, while I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and do that now, just kind of see how far he's went down on my list, just to give you a. Actually, on the main Quake main Quake stats page, Visor is the new #1 champ.
Oh wow!
Which is not surprising because he has wall hack. And my Ranger went down 15%. He was around in the 70s. Now he's at 60 even.
Okay. Oh, you've got a new love affair.
Oh,
you've been playing a lot of Scale Bear.
Yes, I have. I have been playing a lot of Scale Bear.
As with a bunch of other people.
Oh, that is true. He's still towards the bottom of the overall usage. He's kind of in the middle now. He was at the very, very bottom.
Yeah.
But I know what's going to happen. A lot of people's going to complain. Take it away. Yeah.
I don't know. They might keep him as is, but Scale Bear right now, especially in TDM, Instagib, those modes, he's completely overpowered.
Oh man, I use him in duel now.
Yeah.
For the most part, depending on what map we're talking, but I mean, he's actually a viable champion now. We took someone who was pretty much dead and turned him into somebody that's more usable, which is what the goal was. They did it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So guys, don't complain about Scale Bear. Let's just keep him the way he is.
I don't have any problem with it. I think it's hilarious when I see Scale Bear stomping around the map with a gauntlet, annoying the hell out of newer players because, like, I can take care of him. I have no problem killing a Scale Bear that's charging after me or jumping over him or whatever.
Yeah, well, we'll have to put that to the test one day. Because, when I'm controlling Scale Bear, it's a different story. But, I just want to just keep him the way he is for now. If anybody needs a nerf, I would say, I'm trying to think of a chance. I mean, Visor, I don't know how much you could nerf him to the point to where he's unuseful. I guess give him like 1 second of sight. He's done, like 1 second done.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a utility champ. He doesn't have a damage dealing ability. I would say keep him as is. Like, he's viable. He needs to be useful in all of the game modes, and it's not specific to duel. And basically, if you don't want to play against a Visor, if you're actually competing, just ban him. That's what it boils down to in my book.
Well, unless you're playing ranked duel, then I guess you're just going to have to get your own Visor. Because that's the best way to counter a Visor, with a Visor.
Yeah, I think eventually they're gonna introduce a ban system with the ranked play. Once they have like a large enough roster, and it actually makes more sense. It's not that difficult for them to implement, I hope. But I hope to see some sort of a ban system inside of the game.
Well, that's going to be a whole other episode if that ever comes about or not comes about. So we will see. Well, speaking of all these changes, I guess it boils down to the big part of this podcast, and that is the December PTS patch.
Oh, yeah. People were waiting for this one. I know, like, man, I was on Discord inside of the Quake channel. People are like, when's the PTS? When's the PTS? When is CTF? When is CTF? Like, down to the minute, they were looking for the patch notes of when it was going to get released because, we got the Steam update and then, a couple of hours of probably server upload or whatever they do to get it out there. And then finally, we finally got the PTS with the patch notes and we were relieved. And that's what we're going to cover for the rest of this episode is all of the new things that we're going to be looking forward to in the December update. Starting off with some new maps and a new way to try out those new maps. So they've introduced something called blockout mode, which is basically a way for the community to have an alpha look at early stage development and testing of maps. And it's kind of cool, man. Like, there's no textures applied to the maps. There's kind of some funky colors that make it look cartoony, reminiscent of Pikmip. I know there's people out there that are like, this is how I want to play all the time. But I don't know. I think part of the beauty of Quake Champions is the detail that goes into the maps. And I welcome all of the beauty and detail that goes into the final version of a map. So I'm not for, trying to play with a watered down look and feel, but I don't know. What do you think of this new blockout mode?
First of all, make sure your settings are at least medium and above. Because
that was.
if you play on low, you're not going to tell where the corners are. You're not going to tell where the edges are. Like if you're on the second level, you're not going to tell where the edge is hardly. Judging distance is impossible because my rockets were just going everywhere because I couldn't really judge the depth perception. Because I have no walls, no lines to reference to.
Yeah, you and I just jumped right in as soon as the patch dropped on stream with 40 lines, and we did not make that change. So it was really tough. We were running into walls and stuff. So yeah, that's a tip if you are on the PTS and you have access to it and you're having trouble seeing on the blockout mode. Make sure that your lighting is set to at least medium. So yeah, the two maps, they are, the names of the maps are called Insomnia and TP_01. And we'll talk about a little bit about Insomnia first. The first thing that I noticed about Insomnia was that they have both quad and protection on the map spawning at the same exact time. That was new.
Yeah, I mean, it was new, but it also makes me wonder if they just added this for testing purposes, or is this map going to be really both power ups at the same time? Which
You
is
never
odd.
know.
Yeah, which is odd because why would you make that just map specific? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe that has, I don't know, something to do with insomnia. Quad plus protection, gives you insomnia. Who
And
knows?
yeah, well, I think that was wasn't that the capture the flag map or what we thought was the capture the flag map because
Yeah,
they had
it
the
could potentially be a TDM or capture the flag map. Like, yeah, they've got like colored floors throughout the map, and that could just be for visibility purposes. It could be indications of a base. Who knows?
yeah. I know there was a lot of little gaps here and there, and we were talking about how the smaller champs might be able to slide through them, where your bigger champs are going to get blocked off and can't go that route.
Yeah, I highly recommend champions that can jump longer gaps or have a double jump ability, like Doomslayer or Nyx or Athena, potentially even Slash, because there's some tricky gaps to traverse, and you don't want to be wasting your health rocket jumping all over the place. I saw a lot of people playing with those particular champs.
And the next map, to be fair, when we were playing these on the low resolution, I was like, I'm not seeing any detail. I don't know where I'm going because the walls are gray or like a light brown. I'm not sure, but and then the door is just black, but you don't know it's a door. You just see a black square on the wall, and you're like, oh, what is that? And you get to it as a door. And like there's 3 levels. There's lots of teleports, lots of doors, lots of jump pads. So it's going to be very chaotic, I think.
Yeah, whenever this map right here in particular, it seems like it'd be a great map for a clan arena type mode. Whenever that hits, maybe they did that on purpose because of a lot of the levels that do exist, like you mentioned. And I think the name of this map, TP, has something to do with there being a lot of teleports on the map. TP, teleport. I feel like I don't even know where the teleports, if you go into a slipgate, where you're going to end up. Kind of confusing.
Well, to be fair, TP could be a Beavis and Butthead reference
Bungholio.
because you need TP for your bunghole. So I was just thinking about it. I mean, they could be Beavis and Butthead fans like I am, and just call it TP for your bunghole. I just wish they would call it Cornholio. Just the map Cornholio.
Yeah, if I was a developer, I would slip stuff like that in there all the time. Like
Yeah,
little
just
Easter
and see how many people catch it purposely.
And then, yeah, the other map that is inside of PTS, it's been inside of the last 2 PTSs, but it's actually tied to a game mode now, is Citadel. And I didn't really notice too many changes since the last version of it, but Citadel is our CTF map, and it's mostly symmetrical. And there's a bit of controversy around which base is easier to defend. I don't know if you caught that or not, but there's heavy armor in both of the bases, like really close to the flag, and one of the gaps is further away than the other one. Did you catch that?
I have noticed on one side it does seem a little closer, and I don't. Well, I want to say it's a big deal, and I want to say it's not, because overall the map is almost identical, except for like maybe a little corridor might be a little different than on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when it comes down to it, if you're playing it for CTF, as long as your team's good, I don't think those little differences is gonna make a huge difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's mostly being that, the map is new to everyone. So, if they were expecting exact symmetry between both sides, and, they were expecting an item to be in a particular location just because it was in the same place on the other side of the map and it wasn't there, it caused a little bit of a confusion. I caught myself, looking for the lightning gun towards the middle of the map in the wrong place on the red side versus the blue side. So it all comes with, learning a brand new map.
I mean, you could be like D-Ron, pick your flag up and you're going the wrong side. You're like, where's our flag at? I'm like, dude, you're going to the wrong side. You're getting ready to give them their flag back.
He was just lost.
Yeah, I never did that yet. So, and like I said, I like it. I know some people will think it's a little bit big, but I think for a capture the flag map, though, you got to have some size on it. If not, you're going to have speedrunners just capping your flag left and right. You got to give a team a chance to play a little bit of defense.
Yep, that's for sure. And yeah, our very first experience on that map, we played for an entire, like an hour. 40 Lions held us hostage, man. He's like, no, this is our very first time playing Capture the Flag together on PTS. We are playing an epic 30-minute half, full hour long matchup.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't want to do this again.
You had enough of it for that.
Yeah, for that one, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah, and so yeah, speaking of other new modes that are also available in the December PTS patch, there's a new mode that pays homage to our favorite screamer, BJ, called The new game mode is basically all players are BJ and you spawn with infinite LG ammo, and there is no insta-give mechanic. It's just dual wield all day, every day. Once you get killed, you respawn with your ability. So there's a fresh dual wield around the corner.
Yeah, everybody gets that double BJ, and I mean, I guess I can see like when you're just wanting to mess around, you don't want to take anything serious, how it can be fun, but I don't know. It was all right.
But you got to have those casual modes out there for people.
Yeah, I mean, I came back there towards the end because you said I was going all quiet in my serious mode when we were playing that. Yeah, when I don't speak while I'm playing, I get a little bit more intense.
Same goes for me.
They just need to get rid of quad for that though. Quad would without quad, I think the game would be much more funner because you're just killing people. You're not going to have to worry about quad. Because if you go on a quad run with dual LG, you're just going to melt people. Because I think I ended up getting quad one time, and I was just telling everybody to sit down.
Sit down.
You was coming at me, and I was like, sit down.
Yeah, so it's one of those, test arcade modes. Who knows if it'll make it into the final rotation? That's why they have these arcade modes.
Yeah, that leads into another mode we had, Slide and Slash, which, to be fair, I didn't play any because I don't play Slash, nothing against her, but I still don't feel like rebinding my crouch key because I'd have to make her viable, and I don't feel like rebinding a bunch of keys just for one champ, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Slash, now that I've got my new mouse with its extra key that I've bound to my crouch key, so I'm hoping to play a bit of that, a little bit more in depth. But yeah, it's every player is Slash. The only weapon you have is the gauntlet, and it's insta-gib, and you can use your ability obviously with the Slash trail, and you respawn every single time with the ability.
Another major thing they updated was how teleporters rework now. You can see through them and you can shoot through them.
Yeah, you can see through them, like as in they're transparent. So like we got to be careful with how we word this.
Oh yeah.
So you can see through them. So a perfect example is Unawoken. They've got that one teleport in the middle of the map, and before you couldn't really see on the other side of it where like the LG is, but now you can actually see through it. Like previously, especially in Duel, there was like a little crevice on the top and on the sides where you could actually rail your opponent or shoot a rocket through the other side. And now it's like trivial to do that because not only can you see on that other side, but you can also shoot through it. Your weapons pass through that area. So when we say shoot through, that's what we mean. It doesn't mean that you can shoot a rocket and it'll appear on the other side of it. It means that you can actually shoot and it'll actually go through it. The teleporter won't absorb it.
Good wording, because like I said, I never really tested it in PTS because I didn't know about it, until later. And obviously before, you're not going to really play with something like that on random. You're not going to randomly just, I'm going to shoot this teleporter just for no reason. So I had no reason to shoot to the teleporter.
Yeah, I think the teleporter rework is a good thing, especially on maps where like champions like Galena If she was hiding totems behind a teleport, stashing them, getting an overstack, they will be much easier to spot and shoot. And I think being able to see through teleporters, there's only a few teleporters that like actually benefit from being able to see through it transparently, like on Awoken or Molten Falls. But I think that will change as we have more maps and we can experiment with it. But yeah, I'm glad to see this change. I'm glad to see how this affects Duel on that map in particular. You're going to see a lot more rails through that middle area on Awoken. So yeah, time will tell.
And I know last patch they did, well, live patch and in PTS, they had a lot of balance changes and things like that, and it looked like we didn't really get any of those changes this go around.
Yeah, this PTS is definitely focused on the new maps, the new mode, and obviously the new reward system that we're gonna get into. The things that we've been, paying attention to on the forums and on Discord and on Reddit. People are expecting a bit more balance, between the weapons and some of the champions, like, the LG. Like some people think that the LG knockback is way too strong, and I've been on the receiving end of some shaft here and there, but I've also been on the giving end too. So I don't know. I'm torn between them changing the knockback or tweaking the values any further. I know if enough people speak up about it, they will do something. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the LG in particular?
I say we need to sign a petition and get that knockback lowered down a little bit. I'm like you. I mean, I'm a heavy LG player, so I dish it out probably just as much, if not more, than I receive it. So I see it as almost broken because not only, I mean, it's not even like a really like you jump across a gap type punishment. If I come into a hallway with someone using LG, it's a punishment.
Yeah, I'd like to see what it feels like if they just knocked it like one number down, just to see what it's like. I don't know what the knockback value was before, but let's just say it's at a 7 now. Knock it down to a 6 and see where that goes.
Yeah, I want to think they like the last big live patch. It was like 1.6, like 1.625, I think, and it went to 1.8.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to say let's kind of meet in the middle and go to 1.7-ish or around there and see how it feels. Me personally, I thought the last live LG was just fine. When it was all 7 damage with that knockback, I thought it was perfect. It was fine. And then when they reworked it to the 10 damage, but the tick sound was like the tick rate was a little bit lower, felt fine to me too. But the knockback to this point, I just think there's just too much punishment to it, and I think it's OP at this point right now.
I've seen it, I've experienced it, and I've seen people who are streaming where like they don't even see their opponent, and all of a sudden they're floating across the map. It's because somebody's Mary Poppins them, across a gap, and they just weren't expecting it. So yeah, maybe it does need to be toned down a little bit, but they're definitely not testing anything inside of PTS right now because it's exactly the same as it is on the live version.
And one person that does, like we said before earlier in the podcast, one change that does not need to be made is Scale Bearer. I know some people are complaining about him, and I got a feeling he might get nerfed, but then again, still, I'm not seeing really any pros use him. So I feel like until pros start using them, and then you're seeing like these insta kills like with Ranger's Orb it used to be, I don't think anything is going to happen. Because I'll stand by it, and I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of these changes benefit the pros. It's kind of like what we see in esports. If something's not right, that's when the change hits. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, what I've seen is, and this is just maybe from the perspective of Sync Error or Adam Pyle, this is probably how they make some of their decisions, and that's they look at the numbers and the stats because those things don't lie. If there are a bunch of people using Scale Bear and there are a bunch of people abusing his passive and active abilities, then it would show in the numbers. And up to this point, like obviously it's getting, a couple of headlines here and there, and a couple of videos are, have been made out there with people using Scale Bear and Instagib and showing how fun or how OP he can be running around the map. But like, I feel like it's an edge case thing. There aren't that many people out there doing it, and the people who do use it, like, you can deal with it. It's an annoyance, if anything, and it's not enough to nerf him. He's a viable champion, especially, in those circumstances, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I'm setting the trend for Scale Bear to be dual meta. Like, I think that was one of our emotes. There we go, wasn't it?
I set the meta.
I set the meta. I don't follow the meta. I set the meta.
we got to make that one for sure. So yeah, another thing that I think people are crying about or whatever is there's sort of a bug that's happening with Ranger's Orb, and like on paper he's supposed to do 100 damage with his insta kill. If you actually throw the orb and you land it on someone and you teleport, and you the damage that you do used to be overpowered. It was a guaranteed kill, and they nerfed it down to being 100 damage. But to go along with that, if you do not teleport to your orb, there's a contact damage, and I believe it's 75 right now. And what's happening is there are players out there who can time it just right, where you get the contact damage and you get the teleport damage, so it's doing 175 damage, and that's pretty close to a full stack on most champions. And people are starting to post videos of getting Ranger Orb kills on people who clearly should not be according to the numbers. And I don't know, Slip was not really aware of this this bug, so he might start playing a little bit more Ranger again.
Yeah, might have to. And the more I think about it, here's what I think is what's happening in a lot of these videos. I haven't watched the video yet. I have to. But say we're fighting and you're running, you're starting to lose the fight, so you kind of start to back up a little bit. Well, obviously, if I throw my orb at you during this moment, the orb will go through you for that 75, and then as you're moving, if I teleport it to it, you're moving right into that teleportation. So that could be what it is. It could be, with the champion moving, and you just happen to move into that spot, versus it being just like a bug. You know what I mean?
Or it could just be like you said, a perfectly timed teleport. And I don't know. I'm not against it, but I guess if that was not the intention, then they need to make sure that it's not possible to do that. Well, but I don't want to beat a dead horse.
Well, let's just say this: if it was not intentional, let's just keep it, because now it's better. Now that makes the orb a little bit better, and I kind of miss them telefrags I used to get left and right, and I need to get them back.
Yeah, if it's an exploit, hey, whatever. More power to the people who figure out the exploit.
All right, now this is the big nitty-gritty part of the PTS, and that is the new reward system that will go live starting December the 20th if the graphic that we saw is true.
Yeah, I think that was sort of an unintentional leak of when the patch is gonna hit. So mark your calendars, December 20th, for all of this goodness we're about to get into here. So yeah, like with this new reward system, they have gotten rid of backpacks. They've gotten rid of chests. They've gotten rid of favor, in favor of a brand new way of earning rewards. So from now on, there's no random opening of boxes. You'll know exactly what you're trying to earn with a new linear progression system. And that's specifically for the champions. They have a couple of things going on here, but I think this is a good move, especially for newer players. This is something that is on paper you can actually see, what you are trying to obtain, and you can basically earn shards. They've reworked how shards work as well. So like as you play the game, you'll earn shards, and basically if you wanted to focus all of the things that you wanted to unlock on one particular champion, you can spend a shard to basically level up to that item or that shader or that attachment or whatever they attach to that stuff. What do you think about it?
I like it. I think a lot of people were getting frustrated with the duplicates, which even when they were saying, "Oh, well, we lowered the duplicate rate," I felt like that didn't happen for me. Like I was still getting duplicates left and right, and I know a lot of people were getting frustrated with that, especially if you were one of those guys that, like when the new weapon skin came out and you were spending actual money on reliquaries. Yeah,
To try to unlock that.
yeah. I'd have been pissed because hey, I still haven't even got the new shotgun skin.
Oh
Last
wow.
one, I still don't even have that one yet. So, yeah, I can definitely see why that would upset a lot of people. So it was inevitable that they had to do something different with this loot system.
And they hyped this up a lot. And you know, I think there's part of the community out there, like they don't care about, the vanity of the game. They just want to play the game. And then obviously in this day and age, like you need to cater to everyone. And as long as you're making, some sort of progress inside of the game, I think this is a great move for the game for sure, because there's a clear path. And no more duplicates is an amazing thing. I know that I tried to get runes from backpacks, and it took me forever just to get all of the runes for the champion that I play the most, and those are now gone. There
Yeah,
will be a
I
clear
still
way
had
to
quite,
unlock those skins.
yeah, I still had a lot of runes for champions that I played a lot that I still don't have them. So it's like, well, I guess I'm never going to unlock that because I can't get the rune for it.
Yep.
I think another big interesting thing they're going to do is they're going to start introducing seasons, which I know they kind of alluded to that, a while back in one of the streams, uh, where pretty much all the leaderboards get reset, everything get reset to zero. Which, in a way, I see the trend because I know some more popular games they're starting to do seasons. So I guess maybe Quake's going to try that out. Me personally, I guess it's okay. I think it depends on how big you are into the competition, because if you're if you're going to constantly do 10 matches for placements, it's going to get kind of boring or kind of old. For me, if you're going to do seasons, cut down your placement matches in half at least. Do 5. Don't do 10. Let me do 5 matches. Let me get placed. That way, I have
Yeah.
more time. I have more time, which I only know is 5 matches, but I have more time to focus on my rank now and see what I need to do to go up from there.
So yeah, along with that, there are level grinders out there. I know there's people like close to level 400 in this game. Sib is one of those players. Wacky Mackey is another one of those players. They put a lot of time into this game to make sure that they're like high level when it comes to experience. And that is basically either going to be hidden or removed, but that's going away. Like level is going to get reset after every single season, and you got to start from scratch every single time. I don't know if they'll keep that, that overall XP level hidden in the background of the game or whatever, but I know that might upset some people who put a lot of time in the game to achieve that high level. So yeah, we'll have weekly challenges that we'll use from now on to help that progression. And to go along with these seasons, they've introduced something called a battle pass with this new reward system, and that goes along with the daily and weekly challenges, but follows like a different path. And from what I understand, the battle pass being is like, you'll still level up the same exact way as you would with the free daily and weekly challenges, but for 1,000 platinum, you'll earn bonus items and bonus shaders and attachments and things like that. So like, I know they mentioned specifically There's a highly touted Ranger Mohawk that's out there. In order to unlock that item, you've got to put down that 1,000 platinum, but you'll have a clear path, to get to actually earn it. So, what do you think about the whole battle pass situation?
Once again, I think it's taken from other games because other games have battle passes too. And it's basically all a cosmetic thing. I know some people are enjoying it, some people hate it. Um, I'm thinking it's just another way for the community or for the development team to get some more money because you got to think about it. We have a small community. Not everybody's buying the champ packs, and the ones who are playing it seriously, well, we've already bought the champ pack, so we're not really dumping any more money into the game. So it's a revenue stream, but it's a much needed revenue stream. So I'm not like dissing it or anything like that. Because I'm going to probably do it too. Because I put so much time into Quake at this point. Why not?
Yeah, and it's not a huge cost. It basically boils down to $10, every 3 months to support a game that you want to keep in development. And I think if they keep the daily rewards as they have it right now, for the people who are worried about paying for the platinum, you'll also earn platinum as challenge rewards and daily rewards as of right now. They haven't confirmed whether or not they're gonna make the 7-day streak a thing of the past or not, but as it currently stands, if you play 7 days in a row, you earn 100 platinum. And if there's a 10-week season, you've basically paid for your battle pass for the next season. If you play, every single day for that 3-month season.
Yeah, I'm going to say they're going to get rid of that, but that's just my opinion. If they do, it's cool because hey, that doesn't mean I don't have to spend any money. But like I said, I think this is to help promote more money into the development. So I don't see why they were going to keep it around unless they're just thinking there's not going to be a lot of people signing in daily to get that platinum every week.
I don't know. We'll have to see how it all shapes up. Obviously, they can change anything over the course of time, and nothing is set in stone. So, if there's a backlash with the community, I don't know. Maybe they'll figure out a way to make it beneficial both for the community and for them to actually make some money off of this decision.
And I know you mentioned before there's no more runes now, which I kind of feel bad for some people because some people dedicated their lives to get all those
lives,
runes.
huh?
I mean, there's a lot of streamers out there. They would even put in their stream that they were just rune hunting. That's all they were doing.
The thing about the runes is like, the progress that you've made towards the runes, I guess, as a consolation prize, is that even if you've completed 1 of 5 or 1 of 20 or whatever challenges it is, come December 20th, all of those challenges will be completed for you. So to give some specifics on how that works, and this is a complicated one. So for me, on Doomslayer, I've unlocked all of the Elder God rune challenges, and I've completed all of them. I'm on my mastery challenge. So once you've completed all of those, there's still a final challenge that you have to complete. I'm currently at, I believe 37 of 50 for my first place victories or whatever. So basically, I don't have to do anything else for that. And come December 20th, I will have the mastery shader unlocked. And I think that's awesome. I think that's a good thing to do for the people who have been grinding for all of their various rune challenges. There are some pretty impossible ones out there, like the Ranger Disintegrator one. I don't know if you even achieved that or unlocked that, but if you've got at least one of them, it's going to be unlocked for you.
I have unlocked the rune, and I have a few disintegrators, but I never did complete it because, like you said, it's nearly impossible. Especially if you play anything but if you play Instagib, you can. It's pretty easy, but if you don't, I think I've gotten maybe 10, maybe a little more than that altogether, And most of those are from Insta Give. I think I've had one or two that came from a normal game mode because it's impossible.
Yeah, there's a couple of other ones that are pretty unobtainable, but there's a bunch of people out there putting together guides uh, of how to best work the system with the changes that are coming, because any favor that you and this is in the guide right now that we're following, the outline that we're following, but I thought it was worth mentioning. I hope I get this correct, but any favor that you have in your account will be converted to a backpack, and any shards that you have in your account will be converted to chests. And basically, when you open those items, it'll still unlock those things. And I'm not sure how they're going to handle duplicates at this point, because obviously there's a bunch of people who have a ton of backpacks and a ton of chests that they've been hoarding over the course of playing. But there are people on Reddit, and that's probably the best place to go to seek out advice before December 20th on what to do with all of the things that you have gearing up for this event. But the consensus seems to be to get as many runes as you can, and any progress towards those runes completed, so that you don't have to spend your new shards on that when the new economy hits. I don't know if I did that any justice, or if you want to add anything to that, Slip, but that was my take from it.
Sounds good to me, because I mean it was all a bit confusing, and even when you look into the PTS, it's a little bit confusing. But I know it's just because it's a whole new UI. So I mean, once we get used to it and play a little bit, it won't be that bad. But yeah, I don't really think I have anything to add to that.
Yeah, and what I've heard, if you do have access to the PTS, this is an early version of the economy. So like, you're gonna see things that will get likely updated in another PTS patch, and will get updated again inside of like the final build that will be released on December 20th. And I know there's tons of placeholder items in there. Like everything is it seems like it's incomplete, and it's hard to test because we don't have the full picture. But I have faith in the developers that they will get it together, by December 20th to let the new reward system shine. And there's a couple of other things that go along with this new reward system, which kind of suck, but I think they will have an answer for it. And that is the Twitch drops. I heard from Mortal Emperor that the Twitch drops are going away, at least temporarily, because obviously backpacks aren't gonna happen. Favor is a thing of the past, and same with chests, and those are the things that you usually get from Twitch drops. I think that they'll probably end up dropping a shard or something like that, a new shard here or there, or some sort of like exclusive item, something along those lines. But I hope they do keep some sort of a Twitch drop going, because that keeps Twitch viewership up, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because I know some people that they'll just go into a channel and just lurk, just for Twitch drops, and then some people maybe just lurk to lurk. I don't know. I've been guilty of that too. Like, I'll get home from work sometimes, and I'll just pop up in Twitch and just click on somebody's name that's playing Quake, and then walk away from it because, hey, free backpacks, free chests, free favor.
He'll take it.
I will take what I can get.
So yeah, we tried to do all of the justice that we could do with the new reward system and the battle pass and all of that. The folks at Bethesda have put together a frequently asked questions document that has all of the details. You can find it at quake.bethesda.net/en/news. You can basically go to quake.bethesda.net and click on the top link for news and read all about this. And they've been super responsive on Reddit and on Discord with any questions that people have and any clarifications that they need to make on all of the things that have changed. So if you've got questions on how any of this stuff works, those are the best places to go to get answers.
Well, I think we're getting to the part, I think your favorite part. I know we've already touched on it a bit earlier in the podcast, and that's going to be capture the flag.
CTF, man, it's finally here. Dude, I've been waiting close to 2 years for this mode. I'm glad to have shared my very first moment on stream live with you and D-Ron, because I was like a kid in the candy store with that game mode. It brought back so many memories. And oh man, I know it still needs some work here and there, but capture the flag, guys. It is finally here. There's so many like people who've come back to Quake Champions because it's finally hit, and I hope they stick around, and I hope they can, bear with the development team as they build it out, because it's just the beginning. It's just the start.
Well, I'm glad you had so much fun that first match. I like CTF. I'm not gonna lie. It's not bad. I didn't play a whole lot of it in Quake 3. I played a little bit of it. I was more of a just kill people type of deal. But yeah, I think
I'm gonna turn you into a CTF diehard. I'm gonna show you how it shines. And
I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. I've almost done like almost a 360 in Quake here lately. Since I've been practicing duel more, like in customs and and things like that, and having these little fun matches, I've been more just wanting to do that now. I get a little bit irritated in team games now because I'm tired of like getting like in a 2-on-1 fight, or I kill someone else, I get out of a fight, I'm still weak, and then somebody else comes along and kills me. I'm like, you bastard. But
I can see that. Yeah, CTF is another one of those things that you've gotta put some time into, like learning how to play, organize, and play properly.
the best strategy, like I said the other day, was hurry up and cap the flag one time, all four play defense.
And you'll see that in competition, that ain't gonna work.
Well, we'll have to try it and see if my plan works, because you gotta look at it like this: a win is a win. Doesn't matter how you get it, as long as you win.
So yeah, we're probably gonna have a detailed episode talking about CTF, but we want to just give a little rundown on the current state of CTF in the PTS patch. But if you're not familiar with Capture the Flag, especially in Quake, essentially the essence of that game is finally here. There are two teams that square off against each other. It's a 4 versus 4 match, and there are two flags and two bases, and your team is supposed to capture the other team's flag and bring it back to your base, to your flag. The catch is that your flag has to also be in the base. So there's a bit of coordination that needs to happen to get your flag back to your base, and a lot of things that can happen along the way. Like your flag carrier getting killed and their flag going back, and there's a quite a bit of back and forth and a tug of war that happens. And I love the strategy and the planning and I guess all of the dynamics of CTF. But in Quake Champions, I think in the public version of CTF, there are 2 10-minute rounds, and there seems to be a lot of confusion, especially after 10 minutes. Especially on the public side, where it says after the first round, like that was just the first round. It's halftime. And I think that the reason why they have that format is obviously because they're reusing all of the Slipgate and Sacrifice maps as Capture the Flag maps, and the only way to keep it fair is to force the teams to switch sides at halftime and defend the other base.
I think it'll take off. It's just gonna, like you said, it's in the early development. It also makes me wonder: are they going to do like one flag CTF? I know a lot of people played that back in the day. The one flag that spawned in the middle. So it's more. I think that's more a free for all though. It's like everybody go attack the middle and just grab the flag and come back.
Yeah, that's really similar. I think too similar to Sacrifice. So I don't know. They might eventually add one flag, capture the flag. If they do, might play it. If they don't, who knows? But like the current state of CTF, some things that we will probably want to point out that are kind of wonky at this point, besides the halftime behavior, are if the match ends in a tie after both halves are over with, there's no overtime. The way that the tiebreaker is broken is basically the team who has earned the most experience during the match. That's kind of weird. What do you think about that?
I see. I didn't know that 'cause I haven't got to a tiebreaker yet, but yeah, that is a bit weird because now you kind of want to have a teammate on your team that's just killing everybody they can as quickly as they can to hurry up and get more XP for your team, just in case it comes to a tiebreaker.
Yeah, so like if you're styling, as you're playing CTF, like if you're getting combo kills and you're earning medals and stuff like that, those are gonna count towards your, I guess, your tiebreaker score. But the way to prevent a tiebreaker from happening is obviously just to win the map in general. I think it's not really gonna, matter much in on the public servers. I think where it's going to become sort of controversial is if they start playing CTF with the pros in competition. So like if a match ends in a tie and it basically boils down to who, had the more fabulous plays like on the team, that's sort of BS.
I think the next biggest thing they're going to have to work on is maps, which I know that to me, I would rather see new maps versus a new economy system, but that's just me. Like you said, you only have really one symmetrical map, and that's Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the rest of them are like your Slipgate and Sacrifice maps, which we have noticed with those, one side is clearly easier to defend than the other. But luckily, you do have that halftime thing that happens and you switch sides, but still, if you get a dominating lead because you have the better side on the first round, the other team might not be able to come back. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing, especially in the public matches. Is there's a lot of confusion. So like at the halftime, if the score is like 16-2 at the end of a round, the team that has 2 points, like especially a newer player who doesn't understand the rules completely, they're probably going to end up leaving and get discouraged, and that's a bad thing because there's currently no way to backfill people who have left the game, and that's just going to add to the overall frustration, and that the current engine doesn't really support switching teams or rebalancing teams automatically. So that's something they're definitely going to have to fix in the form of more symmetrical maps or adding some kind of mechanic like that to help balance the teams. Because people are, they can only play so much Citadel. Some of the maps that are asymmetrical play pretty well, but some of them are absolutely horrible. I know me personally, I got I think it was on Tempest Shrine. There was a team with a Sorlag and an Anarchy player that were basically doing 7-second flag runs back to back on us, and it got out of control. And at that point, like, we were just trying to see if there was some sort of a mercy rule in play, and there isn't. That's another thing that they need to add if they keep the current format. You can basically have 100-1 game, and it will keep on going and going and going and going and going. Those are things that I hope they're listening to. I left my feedback on the Bethesda mega thread forum. That's probably one of the best places to have your feedback incorporated or listened to. If there's anyone out there who thinks that CTF is fine or not, that's the perfect place. Like, that's why we have PTS. This is not the final version of it. Like, tell them what you think is wrong with it, and hopefully they can squeeze it in over the course of time.
Yeah, I think one of the things I noticed about it as well is like the flag radius, as far as like being able to pick it up. Because there was a few times we played, I walked right through the flag, and it's like I didn't pick it up. I'm like, what the hell? And it even does it when, like, if you're trying to pick up your flag, like you kill the flag carrier that's carrying your flag, and you go to pick it up, sometimes you'll hit it and it doesn't register, so I had to turn around and hit it again for it to pick it up. I don't know if it's like a bug or...
no, I think
don't
it
know.
just has a really small radius compared to how big it is on the map. It's also really hard to see.
Yeah, that's something they definitely need to work on, because I don't know if it was just me or if other people experiencing that, but if it is, fix it.
I heard from on Discord in the official Quake channel, I think it was Sync Error, he posted that this was a pretty early version of the CTF build, and obviously they've progressed on it. So there is going to be a glow or something that makes the flag more visible. I just hope that they also address like the radius of the flag, or they shrink it so that it's more accurate, because no one likes to think that they pick up the flag and start to run and oops, got to go back for it.
Yeah, and especially when they start getting to more competition play, that's just going to be, embarrassing at that point.
Yeah, another thing that's sort of questionable that needs a little bit of rework or rethinking, at least in my eyes, is they've got a little indicator of like the status of where your flag is, and it doesn't really make any sense, and it sort of takes away part of the aspect that I love about Capture the Flag. So it shows your base on the left and your opponent's base on the right, and there's basically an indicator of like where your flag is. So like if you're towards the middle of a map, wherever that might be, I don't know how they calculate that on an asymmetrical map, but I'm guessing it's just like a distance thing. But basically there will be a little icon that moves back and forth showing where your flag whereabouts are. And where that sort of sucks is like if you wanted to make a play on the opposing team and hide in your base somewhere, they know that you're in your base. The flag is in your base. There's no way for you to get away from that. Like, or if you wanted to hide, in a hiding spot in the middle of the map, like they know that you're towards the middle of the map, according to that UI. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe like you said, Sync Error said this is an early build of it, so I mean, I think we're, quite a bit of ways from the final like version of CTF. Because even at this point, I mean, like with Slipgate, that mode still needs to have some changes too, and we probably will see changes to that mode as well. So, I think just have fun with this one as it is for now, and I'm sure we'll get more changes very soon.
Yep, and yeah, as I mentioned before, like champions that shine in this mode are those speed demons, Sorlag, Anarchy, Slash. Especially if you have an LG on Sorlag, like you got to be choosy on which weapon you use against these champions, because you might be pushing them further away from you and giving them more speed to run away from you, especially on a map like Citadel. So definitely check out those champions out if you're good with them, and definitely check out CTF, because I know I've been waiting forever for it, and please give it a shot, give it a chance, and leave feedback in the forums. And it's just the beginning, guys.
Yeah, I think this man wants to play some CTF at QuakeCon.
I would love to. If we could form a State of Quake team that could actually compete in CTF, man, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we get knocked out by Team Liquid the first round.
You're so negative, man.
So I'm being a realist because if CTF becomes competition play, Team Liquid was going to form a team, and that's going to be your power team.
Yep, they're going to be tough, but there are other teams out there that have been practicing too. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
Well, it looks like we've covered about everything in this podcast that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Hopefully, the developers hit their deadline, and we'll see all of this stuff and maybe some new things as the next couple of weeks shape up. On December 20th, that's when this patch is supposed to actually drop, and we'll try to, if there are any breaking changes or any incremental changes to PTS. In our next podcast, we'll try to cover some of that stuff as well. But as of right now, the date for this big patch is December 20th.
Is there any special surprises that we want to talk about before we sign off?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can allude to something. We've been alluding to it probably for like 3 or 4 episodes, but it's finally real. We got a couple of special episodes incoming. We've been saying that we want to interview some influencers in the community or people who are well known in the community. Well, we've lined up quite a few, and we're looking forward to releasing those episodes. So I don't know if it's going to be the next one or the one after that, but it's happening really soon. We got some special guests incoming.
Yeah, we just got to lock down some dates and figure out, the format and everything. And I'm going to hope for next episode because I really want to see the reaction from our fans when these drop. I want to see how they like them. And
we're going to try to, get some juicy stuff. We're not going to skim the surface like some of these other interviewers. We're going to try to get deep.
So that's all I can do, sir. Let's go deep.
I'm gonna leave it at that because I know if D-Ron was right here, there'd be a joke coming right after that, and we're gonna keep it PG-13, man.
We'll try.
So yeah, with that, everyone, we'll see you in the arena.
Keep on fragging. GG's.
GG's.